That's right. Switch your business to Pinnacle's fast fiber internet and name your internet speed. Any speed, and pay just $50 per month for internet the first 3 months. If you're under contract with the other guys, no problem. Pinnacle will honor this promotion when your term is up. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com. Offer ends soon. Some restrictions apply.
What would an extra $250 a month mean to you? For some, it's a little financial breathing room. For others, it's a car payment, a home repair, or help with college tuition. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I've got some great news if you're looking to save money on your mortgage. All it takes is a simple phone call to Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. Folks who refinance with HARP can save an average of $250 a month. That's $3,000 a year. Our home loan experts fully understand the HARP guidelines, and they'll walk you through our streamlined process. And for 5 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through covered drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
Your home of the Arkansas Razorbacks in the River Valley. ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Don Lebatard. Stugatz is disgusting. Stugatz. Yep. This is the Don Lebatard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio.
If you missed any of our interviews, go check them out on demand in the Dan Le Batard podcast, brought to you by the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
We've told you before, we've talked before about sometimes guys make a lot of money in sports. Sometimes they don't come from a background of education, and they lose that money. There's a 30 for 30 broke by Billy Corbin that sort of explains how some of that happens. But what happens next if you're a high earner who doesn't know how to manage his money and then your career stops, sometimes results in you've got to sell lots of drugs in order to maintain the lifestyle that you used to have. It's the only way to make large sums of money if you can't go into stripping, which I don't think Octavio Dotel and Luis Castillo had a way of making giant suitcases of cash the way that you would if you were dabbling in organized crime in the Dominican Republic. And Castillo has denied this, and so is his agent. And I don't know what's true here. Billy, because I think he's a Marlins fan and Castillo had a very long hitting streak, I think Billy is willing to proclaim Luis Castillo innocent just because he says so.
Oh, yeah, no, he's good. He's
good.
Yeah, he said he didn't do it. That's it. That's enough for me. He wasn't arrested. He was just cited. So, he says it wasn't him. I think his statement was something along the lines of, I made a lot of millions of dollars playing baseball. Why would I need to get into drug dealing? That makes sense. We're good. Dan, he had a 35-game hit streak. Are we forgetting this? He was number 1. He was part of one of the most underrated double-play duos in baseball history.
Right.
Luis Castillo. No. Luis Castillo and Alex Gonzalez.
Oh, Gonzalez. I forgot he had the big homer in the World Series.
Were magical together, Dan.
Louis, 290 career hitter vote.
I mean, borderline Hall of Famer. I
Oh,
would argue.
stop it, Billy.
Should I join him?
What I never understood about Luis Castillo is he was a switch hitter, and he would hit like 7 home runs a season, and they would all be from the right side. Yeah. And I always said to myself, why doesn't he hit from the right side more? He's got some pop from there.
I wonder that same thing. You know what we don't see anymore, Dan? The 2-ear helmet.
Oh, wow.
Switch hitters would use it all the time. Now there's a left helmet and a right helmet, but there's no 2-eared helmet. I don't even think he wore one, but now I'm just thinking about it. Why don't we have more of those?
I think Terry Pendleton used the 2-ear helmet. I'm trying to think of anyone else.
I'm trying to think of someone that wore the 2-eared helmet that wasn't a switch hitter, because that has to have existed, right?
Well, John Olerud, I think.
No, well, he wore the helmet at first base because he had,
That's
problem where he got
correct.
hit in
That was
the
actually
head.
no-ear helmet.
Yeah, no-ear helmet. Even rarer than the 2-eared helmet is a no-eared helmet. But now it's a popular thing because all the first base and third base coaches wear it.
Delino DeShields, I believe, wore a 2-ear helmet.
Wow.
John Olerud had a brain surgery of some sort.
He's ahead of his time. Now they all wear those helmets.
And there are 2 stories here that I find funny. One of them is John Olerud played with Ricky Henderson, and Ricky Henderson was in a clubhouse one time, I think, with the Mets, where he said, hey, I played with a dude who wore a helmet in Toronto in the field. And Olerud's like, yeah, that was me. Both places, it was me. I was your teammate in both places. That stuff used to happen with Ricky Henderson all the time. But Luis Castillo is from the same school. Like, Luis Castillo, all of these stories are true. He arrives in this country, sets off a hotel fire alarm because he thinks it's a shampoo dispenser in the hallway. He once flew to St. Louis without any of his clothes. Like, he just got on the plane, didn't know where they were going. He would often lose his glove in the dugout. And then he's going to St. Louis, and they tell him that there's another base stealer. Like him, a base stealer, a famous base stealer in St. Louis named Lou Brock. And he's like, who's that? Who's Lou Brock? And then somebody, a little while later, brings from around the corner a cardinal for Luis Castillo to meet. And Luis Castillo blurts, Lou Brock. And it was Stan Musial.
Oh, Jesus. Stan the man. Wow. Kind of different.
And they're a little bit different. He's looking at Stan Musial. He's like, man, you're big for a base stealer.
And you think this man is guilty.
I think he might squander some money or not know how to manage it. No?
He said it wasn't him. We're good here.
All right, there it is, the Billy Court of Law. If you get a lot of hits, you're free.
You just heard the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
All right, bye.
Summer's here, and there's no better time to hit the road. At AutoZone, we have the Duralast batteries you can rely on to drive with confidence. They're proven tough, even in the most extreme conditions. That's because they're designed to improve performance and provide your ride with a powerful startup. And they're available only at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Visit us at AutoZone.com to get everything you need and start the job fast. Based on data from the MPD Group Incorporated, Car Care Track 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Stugatz here. Did you know Walmart offers 2-day delivery with no membership fees? That's right, none. Choose from millions of eligible items online and get what you need delivered right to your door. Think about all the things you could do now that you don't have to run to the store. You can finally stop putting off that dinner date with your wife. She'd love that. Or head to the water park with your kids. Whatever you do, remember to thank Walmart for putting some extra free time back in your life. 2 business day shipping, minimum $35 order. Restrictions apply.
This is halftime.
I'm about to walk down the stairs with the kids to take them to wherever it is we were going. And you know what it's like when somebody leaves a cologne trail that you just can't get out of? It's like trying to walk through a cloud that you don't want to breathe in. It's almost like you feel it's going to be toxic for your lungs. I am not a cologne guy. Now, lovely lady did get me a scent that I will wear when we go out just for her. It's called Sequoia, so essentially I smell like an old tree. I think it's a pleasant scent, but, I never thought I really wanted to smell like an old tree, but it is nice. Also, the other day I'm watching Press Your Luck, and they had a gift specifically chosen for this one contestant because he loved cologne. He had this, special cologne collection, and he admits he has 52 different colognes to choose from right now. I mean, what do you do, one per week each year? Maybe a couple less spritzes. That's all I'm asking.
Every weekday from 12 to 2, only on ESPN 95.3.
Sometimes a weak heart can give you strength you never knew you had.
When I first found out I had the heart condition, one of the first things that went through my mind was, I'm going to die young.
After overcoming a heart condition that kept her from pursuing her passions, the heart team at Baptist Health helped her prove you don't have to be invincible to be incredible.
I never think anymore about what I can't do.
Keep on inspiring. Keep on striving. Keep on amazing. To schedule an appointment with a physician, call 1-888-BAPTIST.
If you want a compact tractor that's the best value for your dollar, visit Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma and ask about the Workmaster Series compact tractors from Newhall. They are powered by reliable, clean-running engines and are backed by Boomer Guard 5, the best in-class 5-year limited warranty. Not only are they built tough, they are comfortable to operate and gives you a great view from the roomy, open platform. See a Newhall and Workmaster compact tractor today at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma. They're the best value for your dollar.
Football season is here at Crabtree RV in Alma. We make tailgating with your favorite team very affordable, with discounts up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels and $10,000 off new travel trailers. Check out deals like the new Catalina with patio for as low as $249 a month. Browse the area's largest indoor showroom and explore the new 2020 styles from Grand Design and Coachman Freedom Express. That's only at Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
It's the place there's no place else like. Home. It's the circle of chairs around your fire pit, where all the do you remembers get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs in the skillet, crackling along with the laughter. It's the picture in the hall of your great-grandfather, whose mustache he willed to your son.
At Shelter Insurance, we don't just insure your home, we insure all the memories that live inside it. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith or Jim Malum in Charleston about Shelter's home insurance.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Sunshine with isolated showers and storms today. Our high temperatures this afternoon right around 95. A heat index approaching 105. Hit or miss showers and storms across the north tonight. An overnight low will drop down low to mid 70s. And then Thursday, a decent chance of showers and storms mid 80s north, low 90s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 10 days.
Attention, please!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts. We're super in style.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I'll listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac, hold on now, Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Middle of the week, first hour, halftime. Welcome inside our ESPN Arkansas studios. Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Today's got, I guess, a little bit of a weekend feel because there's a scrimmage going on later on today. I suppose they called it practice number 17 on the 2019 fall camp media schedule that was distributed to media members on July the 29th. So when you were looking at this schedule, you knew that there'd be a practice at 4:25, that you would have a chance to speak with the coordinators, John Chavis, Joe Craddock, after the practice, and that the first Chad Morris radio show at the Catfish Hole, which, by the way, will be aired here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com later tonight at 7 o'clock. But we didn't know that this would be the scrimmage, the third, and I guess it's sort of like the last scrimmage. Again, the Beanie Bowl is, I think, a glorified scrimmage in which fans will be allowed into the stadium to watch everything. Today, though, everybody will be barred from watching the scrimmage, and this seems to be a scrimmage where you're expecting some separation as far as the depth chart is concerned. Now, we'll get the depth chart next Monday. That's no matter what. You got to have everything figured out before week one. Admittedly, the coaches can ask the SIDs to use the word "or" in that depth chart when it comes to first and second teamers, and potentially that could be the case. We definitely know, as far as the QB1 battle is concerned, that as of right now it is still an "or." There is not one or the other, and we still haven't heard of any separation between the two quarterbacks of choice for Chad Morris and Joe Craddock. It's, of course, going to come down to Ben Hicks, Nick Starkel, and the two of them were made available yesterday to media after the practice. It was a really busy day for Chad Morris, but this is one of the days that you plan for when you take the job because you know you're going to be speaking at the Little Rock Touchdown Club the first day that one of the biggest college football clubs in the country meets, and then you know you're going to have practice later on. So you take advantage of the fact that, well, you got your own Air Force up there in Fayetteville, and you can fly down and talk to the people you got to talk to. A large crowd of over 900 yesterday in Little Rock. And then get back up there, practice, and then speak to the media again. So it's a pretty busy day for Chad Morris, and so we've got a lot of sound to play. Tye Richardson did a lot of cutting up during the morning, and part of that was a gigantic chicken fried steak with green beans that he destroyed before the show. That was cutting up too, and you cut up a lot of sound. So Tye, I don't think you're hungry anymore for food, but we're hungry to hear some Chad Morris sound.
Well, let's not go that far. Just because I ate before doesn't mean I'm hungry. Not hungry. You know I'm always hungry, Phil. But I think out of all the things you just said, the thing I'm going to pluck from the most is we don't know who the quarterback is. But there's a huge but in there. That doesn't need to mean that Chad Morris doesn't know who the quarterback is. And I think people have had their swirling opinions as soon as this competition began, when Nick Starkel arrived on campus and debating, and even before when he decided ultimately to commit to the U of A. I think that's when the competition ultimately was, this is now a competition, because at that point people thought Ben Hicks was going to lock it up over Connor Nolan, who had retired from football or just choosing to another sport? How do you characterize that for a guy that's
a good
18?
question. I don't know how to. I think it's like choosing one sport over the other. So I guess, if you're quitting one sport, that's retiring from. Maybe you're not retiring it as an athlete.
Yeah. So if you go back to that point where Nick Starkel committed, ultimately up to that point, I think that most people thought Ben Hicks had the job locked up over, at the time, Connor Nolan, John Stephen Jones, and the incoming freshman KJ Jefferson. And not even going to Jack Lindsey, Dalton Hyatt really don't need to be worth mentioning that much, because Lindsey didn't ever seem like he was going to play, and then Dalton Hyatt ultimately moved to wide receiver. So that has completely changed, Phil, 100%. You're now getting in a situation where it's back and forth, and John is under the belief that Nick Starkel is going to be announced the starting quarterback for week 1 against Portland State. And I think I was under the assumption, again, he could be wrong, we'll see what plays out, I was under the assumption that Ben Hicks was going to be the starter week 1 no matter what, unless Starkel just played out of his mind. But I've heard otherwise. I'm not going to go on the record like John has saying that Nick Starkel will start week 1, but it's a lot more intriguing now based off some of the things I've heard.
Well, I think all the media members that have their own sources, quote unquote sources, inside football practice are hearing sometimes conflicting reports. That they'll hear from one source that Ben Hicks definitely looked like the guy at the practice that this source was at and attending, and then another source believed that it was Nick Starkel that definitely looked like the guy at that very practice. And both Starkel and Hicks have been switching day by day on who has the reps with the first team. So it's not a matter of who's practicing with the first team on Tuesday, because it's not the same quarterback practicing with first teamers on the O-line and the wide receiving core for the Wednesday. And I know, I mean, this is supposed to be the scrimmage where there is now the separation. And, I mean, this is going to be, let's call it a practice. It's practice number 17. And, again, I think I asked this question a few days ago. How many days do you need to figure out who is starting at the most important position? Today, for me, is the last day you need. Now, again, it's not a matter of Chad Morris having to go out and announce it publicly the day that he has made his decision. It's he did it. The first announcement of Cole Kelly came on the Monday before Eastern Illinois last year. So maybe you're going by that. Maybe some people think, well, you got your first radio show tonight, therefore you'll announce it on the radio show. But, hey, Chad Morris isn't a radio programmer. I don't think he looks at it that way.
Is that his MO? That's why I'm kind of against the belief that he would announce it publicly. Now, I believe if he's made a decision, he might tell his quarterbacks, he might tell his coaches, but maybe keep it under wraps as best he can. But has Chad Morris really come across as a guy that would want to announce that publicly on his radio show with people there? No, not at all. Because
it's one way to get more ears to that radio show. If you can promote it out, hey, we figured out who our quarterback is. You got a whole Twitter account. You got a whole communications department that can it's called a tease. They know how to tease things. Hey, listen in later tonight to the Catfish Hole on ESPN Arkansas, 7 o'clock. Chad Morris names QB1.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way they do things.
And if you're the
Hey, look what happened to Auburn yesterday. Yep. I mean, Brandon Marciello has the account coming out of AL.com and it was sources inside Auburn practice that had told him that Bo Nix was going to be the starting quarterback, was picked as the starting quarterback over Joey Gatewood. That news broke, independently from Gus Malzahn's press conference afterwards. I don't know if Malzahn felt, well, word's out, now I got to go out and talk about it, or what. But, I mean, word had broken before Malzahn's press conference that Bo Nix would be the true freshman starting quarterback. I think the first time that they've had a true freshman starting quarterback at Auburn since, like, World War II. So with Morris, and you've got a bit of sound from this here. When he says that if I knew who the quarterback is, I would name it, I'm not sure if I'm buying what he's selling.
Offensively, I know everybody wants to talk about the quarterbacks. When are we going to name a quarterback? Do you know who the quarterback is? Look, if I knew who the quarterback was, I'd go ahead and name it. But I know we got some good ones, and we got a lot of work still to do. We got a big scrimmage tomorrow. We got a huge practice this afternoon, and everything counts.
I'll say this about Chad Morris yesterday at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. That's where we're getting all our video at. Just want to go and give them the credit for it. That is the most interesting takes and speech that he's had that I've listened to since coming to the U of A. I thought he was honest about the recruiting process. I thought he was, I don't know necessarily if I can say he was honest about that, because I think you and I are kind of, I don't know if he actually would. But to the radio show idea and what you're just talking about with Brandon Marcello getting that information, do you really expect that if Chad Morris and Joe Craddock and that staff decide on who they want, and they're not going to announce it publicly until Monday, but they let guys know, do you honestly think, and this is for you, Phil, and our listeners who can get at us at the Cherokee Casino Hotline, 877-377-6963, that won't make it out if they were going to decide to publicly announce it on Monday? I can't see that happening. There's some good Arkansas beat reporters, sources. Arkansas has good media members. They will find out if it gets told to a couple different people. I'm just telling you right now, I've seen it happen before. I've followed all these guys growing up. They're good at their jobs. So if you're Chad Morris and you don't want it to get out till Monday, don't tell the guys till probably Sunday night. And that way you can play the idea or play the fact that, hey, we needed more time to look at these guys' film. If you let it go today, it's not going to make it under wraps until Monday. I'll tell you that right now.
He's just going to end up getting pestered about it until he finally makes the announcement. And don't make the announcement just by sending out the game notes on Monday. I mean, this has been the most talked about position of the entire offseason. So, I mean, make a big deal out of it. I mean, not like treat him like he's the savior or anything, but hey, you know, you can at least put together a visual, you know, for your social media, which is the way I feel like they're going to announce it that way rather than through some press conference where you know, Rivals or the Democrat or Hit That Line can treat it as some sort of breaking news. And again, how many scrimmages do you need? How many repetitions do you need by now? I mean, they've run well over 2,000 plays over these first 16 practices. Do you need another 3 days to figure it out? So I would imagine, I don't think he would announce it after practice or after on the radio show today after the scrimmage, but I would think that Chad Morris has a pretty good idea of who QB1 is by the time he goes to sleep tonight. And that doesn't mean he announces it tomorrow after a 10:30 practice, but he is scheduled to speak to the media tomorrow. That's Thursday. I would assume maybe you hear it on Thursday. And, hey, here's the other thing. I think some people are getting a little bit tired of actually hearing about this all the time. We get Justin from Van Buren, who texts in on the Cherokee Casino hotline, which, by the way, is 877-377-6963, says this QB stuff has me tired of Razorback football already. Okay, so let's see how you feel on November 23rd after 11 games, and we're still talking about quarterback play. It just happens to be the most important position on the field. But, hey, I also understand where you're coming from. You know, Justin in Ocala, I guess listening in Ocala, Florida, says this decision shows a lot about Chad. Is he going to be playing it safe with Hicks or taking the risk with the higher upside with Starkel, a lot like the fourth down with Colorado State last year? So that's mixing two decisions into one mindset, perhaps. And my idea, you know, when Hicks was signed, or, you know, I mean, this is college free agency, so I guess we can call it signed, committed, signed, whatever, decided where he was going, that Hicks would get the start for game one. And I think I was thinking that just because of the safe route, because of the knowledge of the offense. But from the things that Chad Morris is saying, I get the sense that Starkel is picking things up rather quickly. And that makes me believe that talent-wise, size-wise, arm-wise, and now even knowing the playbook, it will end up being Nick Starkel. So I'll still go with Starkel as my guess. Now, you know, and admittedly there are plenty other things to get to, but we should play some of the sound from these two quarterbacks. And let's go to Nick Starkel on what it's been like getting first-team reps. He did get the first-team reps yesterday, which means the day before it was Ben Hicks that got the first-team reps.
No, it wasn't. We've been splitting. Every day has been different. You know, he'll go with them Monday, I'll go Tuesday, he's Wednesday, I'm Thursday. It's just every day we've been switching the whole camp.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just been kind of an interesting, and maybe it's good for competition, maybe it's good for getting in tune with your different wide receivers, different offensive linemen that you might have to play at some point in the year, because we've already seen a guy in Noah Gatlin tears ACL, Jordan Jones out, could be up to 4 weeks, a guy in Deion Stewart that's torn his ACL, so you want to get kind of in a groove, not just with the first team, but with the second team and third team, just in case these guys play. And Starkel did get the reps yesterday, and I clipped this from Chad because he does this sometimes where he starts talking about something and he switches subjects like that, and this is what I got on that.
Nick took all the ones today.
And then he went on a completely other subject, so I was like, there's no other point to clip the rest of that in. But he got the ones, and that has people believing that Starkel's got the job locked up. But as we just heard from Nick Starkel last night, Phil, it's not the case. They've been switching off with the 1s and 2s and 3s, what seems to be like the majority of fall, your favorite word, fall camp.
Well, and it's not like you can get really an opinion from the third estate, which in this case would be the Arkansas media, and it's funny too because I saw the media members giving stats out of 20-minute increments from the 20 minutes they were able to see during practice yesterday, in which apparently neither Starkel nor Hicks looked all that good, but hey, it's one series each of them, so what exactly does that mean? Not very much.
You're downplaying it. If you watch the videos that, whether it's Picture Nation, Hit That Line, like whatever, they looked awful. Like what I watched yesterday, terrible. Now that doesn't mean that correlates with the entire fall camp and what the offense is going to look like this fall. But if you're a Razorback fan, Phil, and if you watch one practice all season and it was yesterday, you would think the team's going to go 3-9. That would be the improvement.
Hey, they very well could. It's still 20 minutes of a 2-hour practice, so it's not even a third of what's going on during that time. And so, 20 bad minutes, but maybe an hour and 40 of good minutes, but probably not.
So Nick Starkel,
not all of them really all that good.
Yeah, Nick Starkel had some pretty good quotes. I would say between the stuff I listened to, between Hicks, Starkel, and Morris, Starkel was actually probably the most honest. Here's about what he said with the starting competition and what it was like just going at each other.
I think that in the offseason, it's always good to have someone that you're competing against the whole time. But during the season, I think you got to, have that confidence as a starter and not have to worry, week to week. I've seen it both ways, though. And I want to be a coach one day. And as a player, I just feel like I have more confidence whenever it's not you don't know if you're starting until the day before the game every week. Now, I understand the first game's a little different because, you don't know who your starter is yet. But week to week, I don't like that really every week kind of question mark.
I can kind of get where he's coming from, Phil. If you think about someone being behind you, yes, that does motivate you to be that much better. Yes, that does push you to be the best you can be. But at the same time, if you're always having to look over your shoulder at the possibility of you losing your job in any profession, that can get to you a little bit.
It can get to you a little bit, but also the knowledge that somebody good is there behind you that can do your job as good as you can or better also is a good motivator. So, and I don't know if that wasn't the case last year, with Cole Kelly and Tye Story, because the fact of the matter was neither of them could do the job better than the other, and the proof is in the pudding that here it is 12 months later, and they both end up QB2 on the lower level programs that they transferred to get playing time at, and who knows if they're going to get playing time or not. You're in a better position. Hicks and Starkel, I think, are definitely upgrades, and everything you hear from the wide receivers where they're talking about, it is an upgrade. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And hearing Starkel talk, this is somebody that at least has some inflection in his voice. Ben Hicks, and again, I can't put myself in his mindset because I'm not battling for a job with a spotlight on me right now. But he kind of, the way he was talking yesterday almost sounded like somebody kicked his dog. A little poo-poo lip, if I use Bubba Carpenter's terminology. So just play anything from Ben Hicks because he just didn't really seem very interested in talking.
It was the same. Again, I've had to earn every spot I've ever gotten in college, and this time hasn't been any different. I've just tried to approach it as a process, take it one day at a time, and just do my job. So,
folks, if you go to hitthatline.com and you listen to the video Ben Hicks that Andy Hodges put out yesterday, you'll hear him say, "I'm just trying to take it one day at a time," about 10 times during a 7-minute clip. It was unbelievable. I know Clay doesn't like me to say the G word on this program. I know someone was messing with John the other day about it feels because they felt like he started a lot of his statements out like that. But I guess that's his go-to phrase or words is, "I'm just going to take it one day at a time," because I don't know if you watched it, Phil, but that's all I heard.
Can I just put in a plea then for Starkel to be the starting quarterback, just so that we can get some better sound clips to use for the next 3 months? Because, listen, hey, Ben Hicks may be a great quarterback, but he doesn't seem to be a great public speaker. Not like any of that really matters as far as winning football games, because what Chad Morris talks about, it's all about who gets you into the end zone. And again, getting into the end zone is the end result of being a good quarterback. So look at the footwork, look at the arm strength, look at the accuracy, look at the leadership capabilities, and then you end up getting the simplistic answer that it's about who gets him into the end zone, which to me is another non sequitur coming from coaches.
So you mentioned Cole Kelly and Tye Story losing out on their quarterback competitions. Tye Story at Western Kentucky, Cole Kelly at Southwestern Louisiana State. Here's what Nick Starkel said about his defense, talking to him in practice and how his play and Ben Hicks' play and the others' play has been really elevating them.
As a team, in general, we've just talked about how we're in a lot better situation this year. And we know that was Coach Morris's goal this offseason, was to go out and get guys to put us in a better situation. And so that's definitely happened, and everybody's taken notice of that. You can definitely just hear that from really the defensive side of the ball, talking about it. They're like, well, shoot, we got guys that'll throw it deep this year that will throw it over our head, and that are going to make smart plays. And so that's, it's really big to have a defense that trusts you like that.
That sounds, it's a little bit of a, I mean, he's not naming names, but everybody who's listening knows exactly who was the quarterbacks, the two quarterbacks last year. And I mean, I remember Kelly had a big arm, just didn't really know where it was going.
Took 5 seconds for him to throw the football.
Right.
It was very not compact. It was about the slowest release I've ever seen. So, but now that you've talked about Nick Starkel's ability to take the top off of defense, and again, sometimes coach speak transitions to player speak when they're just talking all fruity, nice about each other. But if that's really true, if Nick and Ben both have the ability to elevate the deep ball, Arkansas, based off last year, absolutely needs that. Think about how many deep balls last year that are either underthrown or just inaccurate. A lot. That's why you didn't have any big plays last year. Not only because the wide receivers didn't necessarily know what they were doing, but you didn't really have a quarterback to get them a ball accurately either. Phil.
Funny, too. I mean, I wouldn't be able to find these quotes, but I'm sure they're out there from last year where if the defense was asked for some quotes about the quarterback, they would have probably just relied on what you heard about the quarterbacks last year. Like, boy, they really can pick themselves up. They're really good at taking a hit and still keep going, and then taking another hit and another hit and another hit. Speaking of taking hits, we're going to talk about the offensive line. Got some sound from Chad Morris involved in the O-line, and a little shuffling on the line at practice yesterday, according to the notes from Andrew Hutchinson. Plus, later on in the show, we've got Clay Henry. That's about 13 minutes or so. That is a little bit later than right now. And Bill King in hour number 2. So a couple of guys that know their stuff for deep dives into Arkansas football and the National College Football landscape. Plus, your calls and texts on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. Don't forget, you're going to love Breeden RV and Motorsports. They've got upfront and no-hassle pricing, and every single RV is heavily discounted the moment it hits their lot, so you're guaranteed to get the best price around. Breeden RV is also the only dealership that offers maintenance for life with no extra charge on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. So come see Breeden RV today on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or go to BreedenRV.com. Quick break. We're back with more halftime on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at HitThatLine.com.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
This is Mark Hurst. It's back to school time for our kids and teachers, and for a lot of our families, including mine, back to school means back to a routine. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we recommend a routine when it comes to your dental cleanings. For a lot of us, routine cleanings are included at no additional charge through our dental insurance, but often we get out of the routine and taking advantage of that benefit. Call our office today at 474-1972 to set up your routine cleaning. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill and Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $7.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $11.29. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday 11 till 9 at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
The weather is hot and the deals are hotter at Hertz Car Sales. Hertz offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks, and amazing customer service where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Proud to serve Fort Smith and the River Valley. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did. Painting your ceiling but afraid of the mess? Hurry to Metters Lumber True Value for a gallon of bright white Easy Care ceiling paint for only $12.99. This non-splatter, quick-dry formula is water-based acrylic, so it's less messy and cleans up easily with soap and water. It also comes with a 15-year warranty. Pick up this great bargain of the month, along with brushes, ladders, tarps, and other accessories to make your painting project go smoothly, while supplies last. Have questions? Just ask the painting experts at Metters Lumber True Value.
This is the Morning Rush.
What's your challenge as an AD to sell more tickets right now?
Next year, for the first time ever, we have 7 home games. The following year, we have Texas coming to Razorback Stadium. So if you're a fan out there debating right now whether you want to get on board, you better, because the schedule's changing, the record of our team is going to change, and you're going to miss out on something really, really special.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Adams with it at the 45. Adams skipping. Adams gets outside. Watch out. Hits the sideline. The Jet. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Some feedback on our Twitter and on our Cherokee Casino hotline. Again, that's 877-377-6963 for a call or a text. Rex from Hector says, look, the QB needs to have RPO play time and an arm to make any throw, and that's Nick Starkel. Doesn't matter when he tells us. Well, and I would agree that's Nick Starkel. Does it matter when he tells us? Well, yes, then you can move on to some other things. And that's kind of what I was going to get to in a moment, but I wanted to also read a couple of the texts, or not texts, but the tweets from listeners. Wesley says, as far as the question on our poll, is your opinion if who starts at QB change? Yes, I initially thought Hicks, actually all the way up until yesterday. So we're all three were given a series backed up in the red zone. Hicks throws were all over the place. Morris mentioned Starkel got all first team and continues with, quote, consistency, unquote, talk. And that shored it up in his mind. Hopeful Hog says, I think we'll see all three against Portland State. Who knows? I feel Hicks in my gut. I think he's right about that. Hog Wild podcast, yes. Based on body language from post-practice interviews, Ben Hicks might have taken a backseat to Starkel, in my humble opinion. I think a lot of people are reading into the body language on those videos from Starkel and Hicks, just like you were thinking, Ty.
Yeah, I think people's opinions have been changed, and it's almost solely based off the first team reps that they heard about yesterday. And maybe that's fair, maybe it's foul, but when you hear a guy gets first teams, but as Nick Starkel referenced, Phil, they've been switching off all the time. So I don't know if you can buy too much stock into that. Until they announce it, I'm not going to be 100% sure on anything, regardless of who tells me what, because it's not concrete until I hear the words or I see the announcement via social media. I wonder, with Miami, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and some other notable colleges across college football, they've announced blank is our QB1, put out a video, put out a highlight. I'm wondering. And
these were high-profile transfers, by the way. I mean, high-profile, correct. Much more so than Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel.
I'm wondering, with all the social media aspects that the Razorback football program takes advantage of, do they do the same? Do they put out a video of Ben Hicks? This is our QB1. Do they put out a video of Nick Starkel? Or is the competition so close that one barely beat the other out that Chad Morris and his team are too unsure to be able to do that at this point? Yes, you're going to have to name a starter, but that doesn't necessarily mean, as we saw last season, that starter is going to finish out the season. That's just at the point you're looking at right now. And let me tie up this last thought. As you mentioned, with the competition changes last year, they've had thousands of reps, but to kind of play devil's advocate, Phil, there's a lot on the line this year. Chad Morris faces immense pressure based on the worst statistical record in Arkansas history last season. So he wants to get it right. That doesn't mean he will, but he wants to absolutely make sure he has every bit of information possible to make the right decision.
I don't think he wants the back and forth that you saw last year either. One thing's for certain, got to keep these quarterbacks upright, give them time to throw. Offensive line was a huge problem last year, numbers-wise, talent-wise, more depth than anything else. And this year, it is certainly the last couple of weeks been a little more shuffling on the offensive line. Notes from practice yesterday, Colton Jackson was at practice but did not participate in the period, still potentially dealing with a little bit of the leftover pain from a foot injury, but did go through some individual drills at left tackle, of course. Myron Cunningham, who's been the utility knife and on the offensive line during camp, has been moved to right guard. That moves Ricky Stromberg, the preferred walk-on out of Tulsa, to the second unit. Stromberg also doing a little left guard work, putting Shane Clennon as the second-team right guard. Silas Robinson moved off second-team left guard and third-team right. You see what you're dealing with here? There's a lot of shuffling on this offensive line, but Hutch thinks that right now the line looks like Colton Jackson left tackle, Kirby Adcock left guard, Ty Clary at center, Myron Cunningham right guard, Dalton Wagner right tackle. Chad Morris did address the offensive line that he might see the start of the season at the Little Rock Touchdown Club yesterday.
Offensive line, people want to talk about our O-line. Are we better? Are we worse? Where are we, Coach? Well, we recruited 6, so that gave us depth. You only had 8 last year. That's all I had, 8. I majored in math, and 8. You can only play 5. You ain't got too many more to have, but 3 more. You still don't have. You got to find. So some of these other 2 had to come in when you try to run 2 teams. So we recruited 6 more, brought 17 into camp.
Phil, I mentioned the different uses of his hands when he was talking about the offensive line. Chad Morris hasn't really taken shots at Brett Bielema, and we just kind of heard Starkel indirectly take a shot about the previous quarterbacks. That was a shot, regardless if you believe it or not, of Brett Bielema, Kurt Anderson in this past regime, and deservedly so. Yep. Did they have any depth that left over? Nope. Did he walk in 8 scholarship offensive linemen and was crap? Yes. So that's really, and maybe, I told you this, I think, during the break, maybe I'm missing a phrase, maybe I'm missing a quote, but I can't remember another time where Chad Morris has directly, not directly, but almost indirectly addressed what he was left with. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm missing something, but I feel like that's the first one I've heard.
Clay Henry in just a moment, but don't forget, for over 80 years, it's Road Chevrolet the Navy been trusting. They're dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. First time you walk into the Road Chevrolet showroom, you'll be treated like family. Part of the family-owned dealership and service department serving the River Valley for over 8 decades. Your next dependable vehicle is at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or at roadchevy.com. They've been dependable since 1934. Back after the break with Hogs Illustrated's Clay Henry on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches, like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana, or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all: crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
We all know the dependability of a Chevrolet, but do you know the dependability of Road Chevrolet? Hi, this is David Neal with Road Chevy in Van Buren. You can save up to $12,000 off a brand new 2019 Silverado Z71 Crew Cab, or take up to $6,000 off the all-new sleek and stylish Blazer. So you think you found your best deal? Come see us and we'll show you your best deal. Road Chevrolet, exit 2L 5540, Van Buren, find new roads.
See dealer for details.
Attention, please! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Lou Holtz, Mark May, number 5. You better look at him a little closer. He's a football player. Got that wood right here.
Wednesdays about this time, we are pleasured to speak with Clay Henry from Hogs Illustrated and Whole Hog Sports. Joins us right now from. Is it you're back home today, correct, Clay? You're by the river.
I am by the river. I was in. I went to Tulsa Monday night. Spoke to the Razorback Club. Was in Fayetteville Tuesday. Got home last night and attending some things at home, and I'll head back to Fayetteville later in the week. We got DirecTV today, and we've been trying to do the streaming thing for a year and a half here in our little cabin in the woods, and we finally just threw our hands up. Not enough bandwidth on this trunk line, whatever you want to call it. I don't really understand what bandwidth is, but we didn't have it.
You just know you couldn't see all the things you wanted to see or watch all the things you wanted to watch. So you got yourself set up for football season just in the nick of time.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a story, and it didn't really hit home to me. I mean, my wife was really frustrated when the NCAA baseball tournament 2 years ago, the national championship, it's like she's trying to watch it, and she can't. I mean, and it's like Bufford is the flies towering down the right field line, and she immediately just said, "Uh-oh," turned you on, and that play was already over. It's like the buffering puts you so much behind, and you're all at once. I mean, she's thinking she's going to hear you talking about the national championship, right?
Well, I thought I was at the very same moment.
No, but I mean, but. Streaming and buffering can put you 2 or 3 batters behind, and the next thing she gets, when the TV finally comes, I mean, it's in break. You're already out of that inning, and Arkansas is going to bat. Right? I mean, that's what happened. So, I mean, I didn't really get it at the time. She was like, we might want to switch to something that's a little more stable than this. So, were you going to do the get off my lawn?
I was going to ask you about that because
I
Clay think
we just did it.
That was the other thing I was going to say. Clay texted yesterday, said he enjoyed the get off my lawn segment, and I thought, you're kind of perfect for a get off my lawn because you're opinionated, and I think you could come up with plenty of those things.
Do we want to intro it, Phil? Do we want to just?
It's what we would do on a Tuesday, but why not? Since Clay's here and he's got something for a little get off my lawn, go for it.
Get off my lawn.
Listen, old man.
Do not your what?
Announce my presence with authority.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
The old man.
Get off my lawn.
When you say it, Clay, can you sound like Eastwood, please?
Oh, you get off my yard.
That's good. That's a good one.
I mean, it's like, my favorite, Gran Torino is one of my favorite, movies. I mean, it was just so rich. And, Dirty Harry. I mean, you just go down. It's just like, I love me some Clint Eastwood. I'm not saying I go with him on everything that he does, but yeah. But it's like streaming. It's the ticket, in my my daughters have told me, we went to PlayStation View, and we've done all the different things. We've got Roku, we've got Netflix, but we had to have it a little more stable than what we've had, and I think that where we live is not got. I mean, it's an old timey DSL. It's not the great fiber optics. It's coming. They're laying cable as I speak. I can drive. Now they're not on my road, but boys, be careful what you ask for when you say, "Hey, I'm going to cut the cord and I'm going to do streaming." It ain't all it's cracked up to be just yet.
Well, those of us who live in cities, I've got the bandwidth I need. It works for me, and I appreciate the lesser money that I'm spending. You know what? I got a little get off my lawn. I think a lot of us in media, I think the fans, and maybe even the team themselves want the quarterback battle to get off their lawn. There's so many other things to focus on here, but you can't help but focus on a quarterback battle. I feel like one thing, I don't know if it's been lost in the shuffle these last few days, but with the injury to Deion Stewart, with Jordan Jones now wearing a boot, you knew you had to have young wide receivers grow up this year a little quicker than you usually need to, and they're going to have to grow up like now. And to me, that's a story that might be a little under spoken about.
Yeah, I think you're right, Phil, and it's when you watch games and you see things happen, and I want people to just remember this when we get into a situation where you get a pick six or you get something and it's like, man, that quarterback just threw it right to the DB. I mean, that's as bad. And I mean, I can tell you hundreds of times where I've seen an interception and then it's like that quarterback is just he can't play. You can't live with that. And then you'll hear from in the locker room, back when the locker rooms were open and you could go right up to the wide receiver and it's like, I had those catches, but the interception that Brandon threw or the interception that Barry Lunny threw, I zigged when I should have zagged, and he threw it to the soft spot. And of course, that pass just sails until somebody's there, and but it would have been 5 yards in front of that DB that intercepted it. So there's going to be some mistakes made, and the quarterbacks they're going to get the blame. But you're going to have some learning curves with those young wide receivers. But on the same token, they're going to make some plays that the last group of wide receivers couldn't make, and I'm talking about Treylon Burks, Trey Knox, and all those guys. I haven't seen all the practices. We know that, but I've seen a little bit, and I've talked to people that have seen them all, and it's a highlight reel of catches by those guys, and just reaching behind. Have you ever shook hands with Scottie Pippen? And you probably neither one of you have.
Name drop.
Okay.
No, haven't had the pleasure yet.
Okay, so when I did, and he put his hand in my hand, his fingers touched up my forearm about 6 inches past the base of my hand. Do you have an image of that?
Yes. When I think of big hands, I always used to think of Lee Smith, the now Hall of Fame closer. I remember watching him pitch, and it's like his hand would completely envelop the baseball. You couldn't even see the ball anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in. I mean, it's just, and that's what these guys have. I mean, they've got hands that are just different. And I always was amazed. Joe Adams had these little bitty hands, and it becomes an easier game for a wide receiver and that's why you hear, Treylon Burks, about every second day they say he just kind of reached behind him and just snatched it. Or the DBs go up and his arms and hands are, a foot and a half above theirs. They're trying to high point the ball and break it up, and he's up there. So what a weapon on the goal line. And I mean, C.J. O'Grady is the same way. Now, C.J.'s not back out there yet. But, yeah, these are immense talents. They're very young. And there's, Trey Knox is still a little bit of a string bean, and he's going to have trouble getting off of press sometimes, but he'll keep getting better. And where he's at 2 months from now will be different than where he's at right now. But you nailed it, Phil. It's right now they got to play. There's not a sit and watch for these guys. They're gonna. But you know what? In talking with the quarterbacks, they like them. And they're glad to have them, and they're ready to go. And Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, they know what a good wide receiver. And Hicks played with Cortland Sutton and Trey Quinn at SMU, and he's like, these guys are going to be like those, but they're freshmen right now, and that's good news, bad news. I mean, you're glad to have them, and they're going to keep bringing in more wide receivers. And to me, when I watch, and I've seen this summer. Watched the SEC Network and other things, ESPNU, and watched some of these national championship semifinal games. And what I see in those games, along with great defensive ends and defensive tackles, are great wide receivers. And that's where Justin Stepp and Chad Morris are going. They're going to keep bringing them in.
Talking with Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, via the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Clay, I post these clips on our social media all the time, and today was a Brandon Allen clip, and I truly believe that he was one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in Arkansas, and there were some deficiencies, whether it was coaching, and look to his brother Austin Allen, the line he had to deal with. Do you think those guys, based on the quarterbacks you had last year and then potentially this year, do you think they were really appreciated for what they were at Arkansas?
Never. Didn't at the time, and I still don't. And it's kind of funny that you bring that up because I was hanging out. I was in the same cart with Joe Craddock, and we were talking about quarterback play. And I was like, would you have liked to have had, or would you, what do you think of Austin Allen and Brandon Allen? And he goes, I pulled up clips of them. And looking at some things, and he says, I remember when they were in high school because we saw some video of them when he was at a GA at Clemson, and they were on the radar. And he says those guys were both really, really good. And he says you can win a lot of SEC games with those two at quarterback. And he said they're back here working out. Of course, their dad still works in the building, and he says. He goes, man, he says they can spin it, and that's what quarterback coaches always say when a guy's got RPMs and that ball comes out and it's spinning, and they're accurate. And I mean, he said there's a reason why they're still both getting shots to play at the next level. Yeah, and I want to tell you, they've got guys that can spin it now, and I'm talking about all four of them, and you probably even put Jack Lindsey in that bunch. But Nick Starkel can spin it, and so can Ben Hicks, and so can John Stephen Jones. I had somebody watch practice this week tell me that John Stephen Jones is a good quarterback, and they all like KJ Jefferson. Now he's still learning where to put that plant foot, and sometimes the balls, he doesn't hit the exact spots the way he's going to, and that's just repetition and throwing the number of passes that he's going to throw over the next year or two. But that dude, he's got some it factor, like can do some things in the run game like a Cam Newton or Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that he's like them, but he's got some of that characteristic where, looks like a tailback when he took off. So, but he's got it's going to take him a little time to get all that footwork and accuracy down in the passing game, and you better have both. But I keep thinking maybe there's a package, for him and some short yardage stuff. I won't be surprised whenever I see number one trot out there in the defensive coordinators and going, oh crap.
Hey Clay. Justin in Van Buren asked for a favor, and give us this in 30 seconds or less. He was a little tired of the QB stuff earlier, so he's asked for us to ask you how much you hate Texas. So if you can boil that into 30 seconds, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, University of Texas, they're just arrogant flips. You know, I'll leave out the salty language that Wilson Matthews would insert there. But, you know, if I was in Austin and somebody made me drive by Darrell Royal Memorial Stadium and it was on fire, I would pump the gas out of my truck and pour it on it.
I have a feeling you would siphon it out with your mouth and spit the gas on the stadium yourself.
Like a dragon. That's what I do, Phil.
Clay the Dragon Henry, appreciate you coming on with us today. Thanks so much.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, y'all hang tough.
Yep. We'll try our best, and that's Clay Henry. Hey, if you own a business that needs more security or maybe just needs more curb appeal, it's the Fence Man. They've got a fence that can give you both. The Fence Man specializes in custom installations, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. Gates, controlled access card readers. Give the Fence Man a call for a quick no-obligations quote at 479-782-3936 and ask for Henry. That's the Fence Man, a division of Quantum Property Services. Wrapping up the first hour of halftime after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
You always get more at Orr.
The 2019 clearance is on at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. We have some awesome new 2020 models arriving daily, like the Chevy Blazer and the heavy-duty Silverado. So to make room, Orr Chevy is getting straight to the bottom line price on all remaining new 2019 models. Half-ton Silverados, Tahoes, and Suburbans, Equinoxes, and Traverse SUVs, plus Malibus and Chevy Trax crossovers. You get the famous Orr volume discount and all the money for your trade. Plus, with any new Chevy sold, you'll also receive a complimentary 3-day, 2-night hotel stay at one of over 600 hotels across America. So come get a free hotel vacation today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
Hardee's used to think bowls were useless dishware. Then we created the new Loaded Hash Round Bowl. Crispy potatoes, fluffy eggs, sausage gravy, melted cheddar, and crumbled bacon. Now part of our 2 for $4 mix and match deal. No longer are bowls just college football games you can nap to. Now they're loaded with Hardee's delicious breakfast favorites and in our 2 for $4 mix and match. Try a bowl today. They're actually really useful. Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Available for a limited time during regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Don't miss Jelco Outdoors Moonlight Madness Sale this Thursday night, 3 hours only from 5 till 8. Here are a few of the hot deals. River's Edge Grip Climbing Sticks, $14.99. Baronet Radar Ground Blinds, $69.99. PSE Coalition Crossbow Package, $249.99. And Wild Game DRT 8-game camera, $39.99. Don't miss the Moonlight Madness Sale Thursday night from 5 till 8 at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
The Paint Store in Van Buren, ready to help you with summer projects, putting 31 years of experience to work and helping you choose a new color or match one you really need. In addition to a computer, they use their eyes and minds to see color and make adjustments to choose just the right Richards Paint product for your project. They'll keep samples in your name and address for 10 years. No other paint seller does that. See the large selection of the current and popular paint colors from Richard Paints and experience customer service you won't get anywhere else. The Paint Store, 1414 Fayetteville Road, Van Buren.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Big deals on big wheels. Save big on Sierras and Yukons right now at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get up to $14,000 off on the 2019 GMC Sierra with a new body style and tons of features. Now $14,000 off. Need third row seating? The 2019 GMC Yukon XL has tons of room and all the options. Right now, save up to $13,000 off. Big deals on big wheels. Save up to $14,000 off at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Wide open in the middle of the field. Hayden inside the 20, inside the 10. Hayden's going to the house. The Hogs ran it right up the middle. Nobody was there. 38 yards. And the Hogs are a PAT away from tying this one up.
Well, there are other teams in the SEC that are still deciding on a quarterback. Bo Nix was picked as Auburn's QB1, which leaves Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt as the only three teams that have not announced a starting quarterback for Week 1. Or in the case of Florida, Week 0, and of course that's Felipe Franks. We're announcing Change My Mind coming up at the start of hour number 2, so stick around for more Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Kids are back in school, fall is just around the corner, and at Breeden RV that means one thing, camping season. With deals on new travel trailers up to $13,000 off and new fifth wheels up to $20,000 off, you'll see why Breeden RV is the area's fastest growing RV dealership. And you'll have peace of mind when you buy from Breeden RV because every new RV comes with maintenance for life. So stop by today at Breeden RV on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com. Breeden RV, home of maintenance for life.
Drop off the bumper. Kids run downpour to the bank, go to work, pick up squirrel. Kids then go home. With Michelin tires, you'll be ready for the unexpected. And for a limited time, get up to $100 via reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new 18-inch or larger Michelin tires, or $50 via reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new Michelin tires 17 inches and smaller.
Get where you need to be with Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith.
See MichelinMan.com/promo for complete details. Offer expires 9/19/19. Void where prohibited.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue. Because that means it's ready to enjoy. Coors Light, as cold as the Rockies. Available down the street. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Are you looking for an easier way to own a new Ford? If you want a better selection with more financing options, try Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. If you want more for your trade, try Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. If you have not had great service from other dealers, try Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. If your dealer isn't meeting your expectations, try Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford.
Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford.
And online at harryrobinson.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear sky tonight. An overnight low will drop down in the low to mid 70s Wednesday. We could see a sunny start, but also encounter some afternoon showers and storms. Our high temperatures will be right around 95, and then widespread showers and thunderstorms Thursday are high in the low 80s north, low 90s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on at OGE.com.
KERX Wilkes, Paris, Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 10 days.
Attention, please.
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Tye Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Getting into the second hour on a Wednesday, which means we are on the way towards the weekend here in this would be the 6th hour of 10 for the week on halftime. So we are officially just over the hump as we move a little bit closer to the third Razorback football scrimmage and then the first Chad Morris radio show of the year. This will be at the Catfish Hole. It's on ESPN Arkansas affiliates and hitthatline.com later tonight at 7 o'clock. Remember, we got into this, I think it was a couple of days ago. You could see the tweet that's pinned to ESPN Arkansas Hit That Line Twitter account deals with the fact now that you do not have to find some sort of streaming app or use the Arkansas Game Day app to listen to Razorback football broadcasts this year, and that would also include the coaches' shows, because all of those broadcasts will be streamed on radio station websites now, which, of course, includes the best website for any radio station inside the natural state borders, which is hitthatline.com. I also got clearance, knowledge and confirmation, I guess would be the right term, from powers that be, that that'll be the same for men's basketball and for baseball games as well. So
it helps. What he's saying is it helps sometimes to be on the inside when it comes to working IMG. Is that what you're saying in so many words?
You get an answer to a question every once in a while. You know what? The fact of the matter is Tommy and John could have sent a text to the same people and probably would have gotten the same answer.
Speaking of questions and answers, have you texted Dave Van Horn about when our baseball event or competition is going to do? Because my guess, this is his lighter time of the year compared to when the spring comes around. So if we're going to do this baseball competition, Phil, I would think that we might want to try and do it on one of the bye weeks during the football season.
You mean the competition in which I go on the pitcher's mound and you go to the plate with a bat and a helmet that please has a mask on it? Please don't step to the plate against me without a masked batting helmet, because I have broken my best friend's wrist in, admittedly, a very early morning batting practice at a Little League field from about 25 years ago. A story we don't need to get in any further.
Let me do the math on that. You're 40, you're 42 minus 25, so you're 17. You're waking up probably hungover. And
no, this was before we went to sleep, and I used my
even better.
Absolutely. And hey, when one of your best friends has the keys, his dad runs the Little League, and you have the keys to the equipment locker, at 1 a.m, you might actually find yourself taking an impromptu batting practice or / home run derby or / I'm so used to hitting baseballs back up the middle that I broke my best friend's wrist.
Speaking of drunk activity,
I don't want to do that to you is what I'm trying to get into. I don't want to hurt you. I don't have the accuracy with my throwing arm that I used to. So I'm also telling you I'm probably going to hit you.
You're more mature at 42 than you were at 17, I would hope, I would think. And speaking of may or may not doing drunk activities with your friends, I may or may not have participated with playing basketball at 2 a.m., after we went to Dixon Street.
And they say good things never happen after 1:30 in the morning.
On only 2 occasions, because we realized that if we played more than that, we would just kill each other. But one of my friend group's favorite thing after college our senior year was to just go play basketball where we couldn't see and we may or may not have been the most coherent that we've ever been in our entire life. So
I
that did
can
not
still remember these moments too. I saw Hunter Yurachek had tweeted about the one Razorback or the one Hog Call. They'll do it for the second year in a row. And it's going to be in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium next Friday. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because Dave Van Horn is going to be in Little Rock for that call, like he was last year.
Perfect.
So maybe if I can find a way to do halftime inside War Memorial Stadium, which I think I could probably do. They're doing the one call at 1 o'clock, right at the start of our second hour. I could probably mosey up to DVH and ask a question, which I'm sure at that point would get shot down because there are liability concerns. There are equipment concerns, and oh, by the way, the baseball team starts practice in a couple of weeks, so I don't know where we're going to pull this off. We might have to find a place near the ESPN Arkansas studios to do it, i.e., you and I just step outside on the front lawn and decide it from 60 feet 6 inches away.
So before we ended hour number one, you mentioned how Bo Nix was named the starter for Auburn from Gus Malzahn. Ross in Paris getting us at the Cherokee Casino hotline saying, name a QB Morris, everyone else's. I mean, that's
yep.
You got Justin Fields at Ohio State. You got, why am I blanking? Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma. Jaron Williams down in Miami. I mean, it seems like the quarterbacks, QB1s, have been named by a lot of different head coaches lately. I'm wondering if Morris is going to follow suit like a lot of people think he is today after the scrimmage.
Didn't I just see, speaking of a QB that was passed over in a highly competitive battle, that Tate Martell, the kid who transferred from, Ohio State to Miami, he's now moving positions. He's going to move to wide receiver. So he was transferring all around the country because he wanted to be a quarterback, and it turns out that ain't going to happen, at least not this year. Anyway, I guess Miami changed his mind on the position they wanted him to play.
I changed my mind.
Hi, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
He won't sell anybody out to buy his future.
How can you be so obtuse? What did you call me? Obtuse? Is it deliberate?
Son, you're forgetting yourself.
Change my mind.
So I went through the entire SEC football schedule and made a note on each of the games where an SEC team is playing against either a major independent, which there are only two of them, those being BYU and Notre Dame. I think you classify Army West Point as a major independent. Now they're back to being successful again, and they're still an independent. So all of the major independents and Power 5 games. Now, of course, you got Miami, Florida this Saturday in Week 0, which is something that Tye will get into in a moment. And a lot of the focus, I feel, on the biggest non-conference game this year is either involving Clemson, Texas A&M, or Georgia, Notre Dame. Now I feel that the LSU-Texas game on September the 7th, Week 2, which is the first time that these schools are meeting in the regular season since 1954.
Is back, folks.
Well, and I think that's the most important game outside of a conference game involving the SEC this year. You hear a lot of people feel like LSU is the best chance to knock Alabama out of the SEC championship game and potentially have a shot at winning the SEC West with a great defense, with Joe Burrow potentially being a game changer, a quarterback. And I didn't realize this, that Burrow was recruited by Tom Herman at Ohio State when Herman was the offensive coordinator there. So that, kind of adds an extra layer to it. And with the idea that, Texas is probably the only team that's standing in the way of Oklahoma, for me, I want to see a different college football playoff. I'm tired of Clemson and Alabama and Oklahoma. And I just for the idea of something new this year, different teams to talk about, feeling like maybe there's a little more parity at the top of the sport than we've seen in the last few years. I am really interested on the LSU-Texas game. I feel like, and just look at some of the Alabama-Duke. Okay, whatever. Auburn-Oregon, great game, but neither of those teams is going to be standing at the top of the heap of their league at the end of the season. Florida versus Miami, Florida versus Florida State. Yep, they play every year. Georgia, Notre Dame, I think that's number 2 as far as importance is concerned in the SEC out-of-conference games. Kentucky and Louisville, all right, whatever. LSU, Texas, that's what I'm talking about here. Ole Miss's biggest out-of-conference game, they open the season with Memphis. Memphis is better than Cal. That's who Ole Miss plays out of conference this year. Mississippi State has Kansas State. Missouri's got West Virginia. USC, they got a tough schedule, of course. They always play Clemson. They open with UNC. UNC not very good. Tennessee plays BYU, A&M with Clemson, and Vanderbilt against Purdue. So I'm looking at all of that, and I'm saying LSU-Texas is the most important game. Change my mind.
All right, so I'll help you out with your argument at first, and then I'll kind of counteract it a little bit. That's the only top 10 matchup the first 3 weeks of the season, LSU and Texas. Texas is one of the potential Big 12 champions and could possibly elevate them to the college football playoff. Now, after the Rose Bowl win against Georgia last year, Sam Ehlinger was quoted, just like we heard from Joe Tessitore, Texas is back. We're back. So the question mark is, are you actually back? Are those just words on a chalkboard? Are those just words we're playing highlights? Is Texas actually going to get back to that 05 Texas team where they meet someone in the national championship? On the other side, LSU, you got Joe Burrow, the guy you just referenced, who might be their best quarterback in since Jamarcus Russell maybe? I think he's probably better than Zach Mettenberger, and I don't know if there's a better quarterback than he is. So you have that. You have one of the best defenses in football, maybe the best defensive player in football in Grant Delpit, and there's studs all over the place. They got, and I'm forgetting the kid's name, he's a 5-star corner that I'm really intrigued to see him match up with Trey Knox, and it's going to irritate me. It's on the tip of my tongue, but he's an incredible athlete, and they got studs on that football team. Can they be that team that challenges Alabama? I don't know that. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. I would think Auburn would actually be, or Auburn or A&M would be two teams in the SEC West that would be more likely to beat Alabama, but that's an argument for another day. So the two other really comparisons you have SEC non-conference-wise, Auburn, Oregon, and then you have Notre Dame traveling down to Athens to take on the Bulldogs. That's also a top 10 matchup in Week 4. With the Auburn-Oregon game first, you're really going to find out a lot about Auburn. Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. That's a Heisman candidate. He's a stud. I can't speak to their defense as much as I probably should. They have weapons out there. I know that Mario Cristobal had a top 10 recruiting class this past cycle, so they're going to have some studs out there. Georgia, Notre Dame. Notre Dame's vying for a playoff appearance. They know that they haven't come up big in big games. They lost and got demolished by Alabama either 2012, 2013. I think it was 2012. And then they got swacked in the college football playoff. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe last year. I'm blanking on the year, but they haven't fared well in big games. That's going to be a test. Georgia, yes, they lost 4 of their best playmakers at wide receiver and not at tight end, but that's still going to be really bit. To your point, Phil, I don't know if I'm going to be able to change your mind because to me, those paths, I think LSU and Texas, they have what looks to be two incredible schedules ahead of them, and they really have to get started off in that game. That was really long-winded. Sorry.
Well, I don't think LSU has played a road game out of the SEC in like 6 years. So just the fact they're going to Austin.
Has it really been that long?
It's been, if it hasn't been 6, it's been 5 years. So just the fact they're leaving the state of Louisiana to play a road game is just kind of shocking, especially out of conference.
I know they played Oregon. I know they played West Virginia non-cons.
These were all neutral site games.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back. I forget exactly the game that was, but it's been like 5 or 6 years since LSU went on the road to play a team out of conference. Anyway, I mean, look at that second week: LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Clemson. Those will be just two tremendous games in a week that also has Alabama, New Mexico State, Auburn v. Tulane, Florida against UT Martin. I mean, that's the week. Arkansas opens the season with FCS. Week 2 is when you see a lot of the other SEC teams play their FCS, but then you get, two of the biggest games of the year with the Aggies and the Tigers, and then the Tigers and the Longhorns.
Ross and Paris getting us on the Cherokee Casino hotline saying LSU will kill Texas. Ross, I don't know about that. I think Sam Ehlinger is going to really annoy the LSU defense like he has so many defenses in years past, and I know he plays in the Big 12. He's going against lackluster defenses. Look to the Georgia game last year. I promise you Kirby Smart's squad was very frustrated with how he continually got first downs, and then drove the ball last year. All right, Phil, my first change my mind is the nicknames I came up with, and that's with Nick Starkel and Ben Hicks, the quarterbacks. Whoever starts, I'm going to give them the nicknames, and I put it out on social media already, and I want you to critique it and tell me if you can think of better nicknames. One, Nick Starkel, the only nickname I've ever seen associated with him is on a Texas A&M message board. Nicky Sparkles. And I think we asked Billy Lucy about that. He had never heard of it, and I don't think he gave a nickname when I asked him if there's one. And then with Ben Hicks, it's the bad moniker. It's Pick 6 Hicks. That's kind of stuck with him throughout his college playing days. And I've changed that to Move the Sticks Hicks. And then for Starkle, it's Stark After Dark. Hopefully, for Arkansas' sake, he'll be winning some night games this year. So critique the new nicknames for Nick Starkle and Ben Hicks. Again, Move the Sticks Hicks and Stark After Dark. What do you think? Change my mind. Are they good nicknames or not?
Move the Sticks Hicks is okay, but just getting first downs isn't as exciting enough as just getting into the end zone. I know you got to get first downs to get into the end zone, but 10 yards at a time to me just doesn't sound exciting enough. For Starkle, what's that nickname again?
Stark After Dark.
Stark After Dark. There just aren't enough night games for this team to be Stark After Dark.
If they win, there will be night games.
And it's also too close to Stark Vegas with Mississippi State. So I don't know. I've always thought there's a little bit too much maroon in the SEC. You're taking one kid out of one of those maroon schools, and you're almost bringing his nickname into the realm of another maroon school. So I think there are ways to work around this. Yeah. I got some nickname stuff too to get to, so why don't I do that?
Go fly into it, dude.
So the XFL had a big reveal today, and the reveal were the logos and the names of all the teams that will be debuting in the XFL restart, which is February in 2020. And I think these nicknames are garbage, and I think that the logos that went along with them looked like they came out of 5th or 6th grade. Not like I could be any better at visual art than these logos are. But I mean, here are the names for the XFL. And I know Clay was a big fan of Roughnecks for Houston, but that's just too easy of a nickname for a city that's tied to the oil industry. And hey, Roughnecks was also a nickname for a lot of other teams across the country and other sports. And I just thought you would have heard more creative names for a league that is tied to the WWE. The Los Angeles Wildcats, is that the single laziest name in the history of professional sports? What is that, the 500th different Wildcat that's currently going to be playing in the United States? New York Guardians. Guardians, I think, go Guardians. It's just, there's no way to shorten Guardians, by the way, so it's just a little bit difficult. Houston Roughnecks, okay. Dallas Renegades. You had a Renegades in the USFL. It didn't work out very well for that league either. St. Louis Battlehawks, with the two words smooshed together, and battle and hawks being capitalized. I thought we were done with that kind of stuff. That's like 15 years ago, minor league baseball. Seattle Dragons, okay, that's all right. Tampa Bay Vipers and the DC Defenders, which to me just sounds like a soccer team name. I don't like any of these names. I thought these names would be better. I'd go with the Los Angeles Lickers. I think that's a lot better than the Wildcats. What do you think about the Houston Hamsters? Nobody's ever called themselves the Hamsters before. Could you see a Hamsters versus New York Nice Guys game? The Nice Guys, you could shorten that just to the Guys. Go Guys, much better than Guardians. The Dallas Dingleberries, the St. Louis Snot, the Tampa Bay Teasers, the Seattle Songwriters, and the DC Dung Beetles. All of these much better than what I saw out of the XFL today. Changed my mind.
Phil's reaction when he heard about the names with the new football league.
I can't even believe it.
Just like Mike Francesa, a little frustrated. You can tell by just the sound of his voice. Look, here's the thing. It's not exactly the easiest thing to come up with both creative nicknames and names that will roll off the tongue. People know what they are, the references and whatnot. So I'm kind of in the middle on this. Yes, those aren't the most creative names, but at the same time, Phil, it's not exactly the easiest thing to come up with nicknames that people both recognize and then think it's cool. And you also got to remember there's some demographics that nickname's cool. Like that's a newer nickname, and millennials think that's cool. And then there's an older demographic that think that like an older nickname's cool. It depends on how you go with the flow on this. You obviously aren't going the flow, so I can't really change your mind on that.
To me, I just think they realized last week they had to come up with names for these teams. They're just like, well, let's just look inside some old encyclopedia of sports and point to something and come up with that. It's like they threw darts at a book.
So we're talking about we're talking about football. Let's talk about college football this weekend. We got 2 games. We got Arizona down in Hawaii, and we got Florida taking on Miami. Yes, I am so excited for that Florida-Miami game. Not really Arizona-Hawaii game. I don't know how much attention I'll pay to that. But this is almost like a bad teaser. Yes, college football is back. Would this equate to the first four for March Madness, where you have 2 games on the first night, 2 games on the second, but it really gets in the following week? Is because I know it's week 0.
What it is for me, because those are still games that matter, and it plays into what happens the next week or later on in the weekend when the NCAA tournament starts. This is like Major League Baseball opening the season with the A's and the Mariners in Japan with regular season games, while the other 30 teams are playing exhibition games, and then the A's and Mariners came back to the United States, played more exhibition games after they had already played regular season games. That's what this seems like to me.
Cody, Cody on our Cherokee Casino hotline said the names sound like N64 teams that are terrible. They were on like quarterback club.
Well, this really to me sounded like the USFL team names. I look back at the New Jersey Generals, the Tampa Bay Bandits, the Houston Gamblers, the Los Angeles Express, the Memphis Showboats, the Chicago Blitz, the Denver Gold, the Pittsburgh Maulers. I mean, this doesn't sound too much different from the XFL teams.
What if it's kind of like the New Jersey, or it sounds like a team or teams that the Harlem Globetrotters beat consistently?
The Washington Generals. That's the only team they ever played.
I know. So that's kind of the similar thing. What's your third one, buddy?
Well, and by the way, I half agree and half disagree with you, because I feel like, if there are games that are being played that matter, then the season has started. But then it would also be week 1, not week 0. There is no week 0. That's a non-starter. All right, my last one. I promised you I would go with this, because yesterday after the show was done, we've got this whole chicken sandwich thing going on with the fast food restaurants. And I got a Popeyes down the street. After the show yesterday, I rushed over there and ordered the spicy chicken sandwich at Popeyes. Now, I've been out there, very upfront of saying I think that the Popeyes chicken strips are the best. Their spicy chicken sandwich is delicious, but it still ranks behind Wendy's for me. It's a little, as far as the spicy chicken sandwich goes, there's something about Wendy's, the spice without the sauce. Whatever they put in the breading, it makes the top of my head sweat. And I know part of that is because it's hot outside and I have no hair. No, it's because I have no hair. I can stomach the food, but it's just delicious. It's the best chicken sandwich. It's better than Popeyes. Changed my mind.
I can't, because I haven't had the Popeyes chicken sandwich yet. So I can't make an accurate judgment until I do. But I am going to have that sometime this weekend. Thumper getting us at the Cherokee Casino hotline asking, Phil, if we had a radio show team name, what are we going with? The halftimers?
I don't know. I think I'll have to figure that out.
What about the halftime humpback whales? I
like hamsters. Can we go with hamsters?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we'll just be rodents, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners agree with. Also, JT in Hot Springs texts in, there's no Wildcats in L.A. The team names need to be about the city. Now, I think there are mountain lions in the hills in Los Angeles. So maybe they're, referring to that. Just maybe.
Thumper also says he's Team Wendy's when it comes to talking about chicken sandwiches. All right, my last one, Phil. Chad Morris will not announce publicly. I'll just hear that again. Publicly, he will not announce publicly who the starting quarterback is until Monday. Yes, he might tell his quarterbacks. Yes, he might tell coaches previously. But I don't think until that press conference on Monday he announces the quarterback decision publicly. Changed my mind.
Why would you subject yourself to 2 more full days of questions about it? Why? Chad Morris is scheduled to talk to the media after practice tomorrow, and while there's no media availability on Friday, I'm sure that the Hogs head coach will be talking after whatever the Beanie Bowl is on Saturday. So why would you subject yourself to these questions if now you seem to be a little openly annoyed by the question being asked every time you're in front of the cameras? So why subject yourself to it? Announce it when you know, and I feel like you ought to know by the time you go to sleep tonight.
We'll see what happens.
Do it tomorrow. Save us from our long halftime nightmare. By the way, Steve in Conway texts in, he likes halftime hosses. That one might be okay, Ty. Maybe we'll go with that. Not bad at all. Good stuff, Steve. All right. Hey, before you go to the break, though, reminding you about Rhodes Chevrolet. That's the name you've been trusting for over 80 years. Rhodes is dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. You walk into that showroom, very first time you'll be treated like family. Part of the family-owned dealership and service department serving the River Valley for over 8 decades. Your next dependable vehicle is at Rhodes Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or RhodesChevy.com. They've been dependable since 1934. Quick break. Back with more ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Hold on tight. Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at HitThatLine.com.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Proclaim Construction has been in the industry for a combined 50 years, and they can meet any needs you may have for your home or business. Proclaim is your insurance restoration specialist, and they're offering a no-cost, limited-time free roof inspection, and they'll make your insurance claim if necessary. Whether it's basic repair, remodel, or complete makeover, Proclaim Construction guarantees your satisfaction with the best warranty in the business. Proclaim has references for your peace of mind, and they're licensed, bonded, and insured for your protection. Call 479-407-9598.
Looking for a new home course this golf season? Eagle Crest Golf Course has memberships as low as $83 a month for Zoysia fairways and bent grass greens. Is your whole golf group ready to join Eagle Crest? 4 new members can join for just $1,150 each for the entire year. Individual annual memberships are just $1,250 a year. Call Eagle Crest Golf Course right now for all the details. 632-8857. That's 632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma. Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Does this sound like you?
Or is this more like it?
Or maybe your inner biker sounds like...
No matter what motorcycle motor is music to your ears, Shelter Insurance has a policy that's music to your wallet.
Shelter insures your fun stuff. Motorcycles to riding mowers, ATVs to RVs, bikes to bass boats. If it rides, rolls, or floats, we can cover it. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Are you looking for an easier way to own a new Ford? If you want a better selection with more financing options, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If you want more for your trade, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If you have not had great service from other dealers, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If your dealer isn't meeting your expectations, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford.
Harry Robinson, Salisol Ford.
And online at harryrobinson.com.
This is the Morning Rush.
What are the odds that John Stephen Jones starts that first game? Can't tell me that the percentage chance of John Stephen Jones is 0.
I don't think you can with the way he keeps being mentioned. If, on Wednesday, after their scrimmage, and Chad Morris meets with the media, and he comes out and he says, Game 1 starter against Portland State at quarterback, John Stephen Jones, is your reaction immediately a negative?
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
He lost it, and Arkansas, Tony Bua comes away with it, and Arkansas comes away with the win in 7 overtime.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio coming up in a few minutes. Some ideas have come in for the halftime team name on our Cherokee Casino Hotline. Rex from Hector likes halftime javelinas. I am very big on the alliteration, even though javelina starts with a J. We'll pronounce it with the huh sound, so I think that would work okay. Halftime heroes. That's what Dave and Gurdon wants. I like all of these. I still think halftime hamsters, or to for a sports name, maybe we could call them the hamstrings. Halftime hamstring injuries. Ty, you think we could we spin with that one?
Well, you have your knee problems. I have my knee and my ankle, so I guess we're doing bad in the injury department. So I guess if we want to refer to ourselves something with problems with our knees or physical ailments of some sort, then yeah, I'm down for calling ourselves the halftime hamstrings, because I wouldn't be surprised if I pulled one.
How about one of these? How about one of these nicknames that doesn't have an S at the end of it? You know, that's already plural just by the word you're using. And this could play into a conversation we have, I guess, virtually every show, because you've got a lot of it and I have virtually none. The hair. The halftime hair.
No, that's just mean. I don't poke fun at you unless you.
No, let me poke fun at myself. That's partially what I like doing.
So Jeff Taylor over at Jeff's Clubhouse just texted me and said the halftime hot steppers.
As long as we can only play the intro by Eni Kamosi, the hot steppers. Maybe we could go with that.
Generational gap.
Will you explain that?
Eni Kamosi, you've never heard Here Comes the Hot Stepper? Oh, boy. Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't
gap.
it?
When I press that, I have no idea what you're talking about, so just be ready to explain something.
Andy in Mountain Home says halftime hacks, which I guess probably tells us what he thinks of the show.
That's probably a good characterization.
And Ross in Paris must think that I will say anything that he tweets or anything that he texts to us. So I'm sorry about that, Ross. I don't think I can go with that nickname. This is not Drive Time Sports. Sorry about that.
You're telling me you actually read before you say what's listed there?
I try to. There have been a couple of times I think I've just read, but in this case, all we got from Ross was 3 words. So it was pretty easy just to look at and really, you know what, that one wouldn't get me fired, but it would get me a stern talking to. So let's make sure we don't go with that one.
I got 4 from Ram, who's texting in halftime hillbillies. So I know that Porter listening, that's his mascot there in Ozark.
We can't just represent Ozark.
Yeah, halftime Hardee's Burgers, that's not bad. Halftime Hicks, I'm not really country.
Now, we're not taking a side on the quarterback battle, so we can't go with that one.
Halftime Hunks are the 4 that he texted in.
Well, we know the truth, so and we want to go with something that's more the truth. So maybe by the end of the week we can figure this one out. A nickname for your favorite midday radio program. You know, one that we could actually say on the radio, Ross in Paris. Thanks so much. All right, quickly, Arkansas opens with an FCS opponent this year. You know that very well, Portland State, and the Razorbacks are the only SEC team that opens with a non-Division I opponent. I still want to call it Division I-A. Most of the other schools that play an FCS team, the second week, you get a lot of those games. Charleston Southern against South Carolina, Murray State, Georgia, UT Martin, Florida, and New Mexico State is still an FBS program, though hanging on by their threads. Arkansas had opened with FCS opponents quite a bit, even last couple of years, Eastern Illinois, Florida A&M. So this will be now 8 of the last 12 years. Arkansas opens with an FCS opponent.
And it's needed, Phil. We've talked about it. You didn't want Michigan on your schedule this year. I know for fans paying all that money up there to Fayetteville and the Razorback Foundation, yes, they're disappointed. But, man, your schedule, it shapes up where if Michigan would have been on it, you had a tougher non-con, it would not have been good this year. So you, at least just from outside looking in, should win every single non-conference game.
All right, we're going to come back with the one and only Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
Wishing time would stop right in its tracks.
You always get more at
The 2019 clearance is on at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. We have some awesome new 2020 models arriving daily, like the Chevy Blazer and the heavy-duty Silverado. So to make room, Orr Chevy is getting straight to the bottom line price on all remaining new 2019 models. Half-ton Silverados, Tahoes, and Suburbans, Equinoxes, and Traverse SUVs, plus Malibus and Chevy Trax crossovers. You get the famous Orr volume discount and all the money for your trade. Plus, with any new Chevy sold, you'll also receive a complimentary 3-day, 2-night hotel stay at one of over 600 hotels across America. So come get a free hotel vacation today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
If you're a landowner, hobby farmer, or full-time farmer, Bush Machine and Tractor knows how important this time of year is for you. So make the most of it with a brand new Branson tractor. Offering tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, they have the tractor that's right for you. Make the most of your time this year and ask about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer is Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. Check out their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Attention, please!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Brantley trying to turn the corner, lost the football, and the Hawks have it. They will have it at the 35-yard line. Jevin Calloway came up to make the hit.
Week 0 continues here on Halftime with us counting down to the start of Arkansas with their, last scrimmage later on today. And, of course, you got a real game, couple of real games this weekend, Auburn and Oregon and Arizona, Hawaii. Well, let's going to talk some college football here with Bill King, great radio host from Nashville Sports Radio. Usually joins us about this time on Wednesdays. Bill, how's week 0 going for you?
I keep the on switch in the right position, so there is no week 0 for me. If they pop a game in front of me right now, I'm ready to go. We're all good, man.
Is this the start of the football season for you with just 2 games on Saturday, or is this just kind of like an appetizer to the main dish?
Well, I'm going to say Miami and Florida is better than an appetizer, but I do think that week 1, beginning with Thursday night play in essence, which couple teams, Clemson plays that night, the Aggies play that night, they're both heavily favored. But I think that's when everything gets started. The Saturday, we're going to have a big party, college football party at the Omni, the Friday of the 30th of August. To me, that's when everything gets going.
Well, most of the talk here at Arkansas, certainly in the last couple of weeks, has been about the quarterback battle between Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel. There were 3 other teams in the SEC that hadn't chosen a QB1 for the first game, and then yesterday the announcement for Auburn that Bo Nix would get the start, a true freshman, first true freshman to start at Auburn since World War II. Of course, we know his dad was Patrick Nix, who had a lot of success there at Auburn. Did you think that this would be the case? I know a lot of people thought Joey Gatewood would get the start just because he was with the team for an extra year.
Yeah, I probably conservatively would have said Joey Gatewood before they started camp, just because he's been there a year now. He doesn't have any meaningful snaps. Redshirt freshman, big kid. He's out of Jacksonville. But I think this tells you that Bo Nix probably clearly won this job. And he's a big-name recruit with a really good last name, an Auburn last name. And he's a dual-threat quarterback, and he gets to open in a tough game, the Oregon game. They must really feel good about him. And he's the future, and got to remember now, Gus is back to calling the plays, too.
Yeah, Gus definitely is, and that to me that was supposed to be the biggest thing out of Auburn. It's not necessarily who's your quarterback or what's going on that side. It's who's calling the plays and the freedom that Gus might have to call those plays this year. But that puts more pressure on him than anything else, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and apparently Bo Nix, the offense they're running at Auburn is what he's been running most of his life. So there is familiarity there. Now, he hadn't been playing against this level of player, obviously, but apparently with him transforming the playbook isn't really a problem. I think it's just you got to live it to understand it. He hasn't lived it yet. He's about to see live bullets, and that's a whole different thing.
Talking with Bill Keene, Nashville Sports Radio on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Bill, we had a great conversation with Fox Sports' Tim Brando yesterday. I know you guys know each other. With him, I remember growing up every Saturday, SEC on CBS, and I think Adam Zucker does a tremendous job for that television station. But do you miss him at all being there on Saturdays on CBS?
Yeah, and I know Adam, too. Good, really good, too. I mean, if I don't know if he was at SEC Media Days, but if you saw him, go up and beat him. Great guy. But yeah, I mean, I've known Tim a long time, and I loved his work, so I enjoyed that, watching him on CBS. But frankly, guys, as the years develop with Twitter and all the TVs during watching games and all the devices I'm using, I don't really watch that stuff. I don't care if it's the greatest guy ever doing it. I just don't. There's too much info for me to stop, flip on a channel, and check some guy's scoreboard. It just is counterproductive for me.
So with it being National Radio Day yesterday, Bill, I know you've been kind of a staple in college football sports radio for quite some time. You've done it in Nashville for quite some time, whether it's SiriusXM, whether it's Nashville Sports Radio. Is there a memory or a few memories that stand out to you doing a sports radio show that you kind of reveled in yesterday?
One would be a guy called on the show, SiriusXM, and he said, Bill, I was in Afghanistan, and me and my cousin listened to your show as a getaway every day when we could. And then he tells me he just got killed over there. That was a moment where you just lock up, and it was a tough moment. He started crying, and so that's one that stands out. That's a for real thing that just literally stops you in your tracks. Trying to think if there are any others on a lighter note than that. Guys, I've done 3 to 4 hours a day for about 30 years, and it's probably all mixed up in a beaker somewhere. I don't really know. I can't really think of. There have been so many moments that have stood out that I don't know if I could. But that was a different one right there. That really. And now that guy's Josh. You may know him, Josh from London, Ohio, is a big Buckeye fan. Now he calls the show all the time.
Bill, you hit on something that really makes radio, it's personal for people, and we don't realize it as hosts until they tell us. That's one of the things I like about Twitter is that people can tell you where they're listening to you from, and they don't have to call in and through the text messages and all that. People bring us into their brains essentially and make us part of their daily life. And, we got into radio, I think, because we like talking about what we're talking about, but then you realize that maybe you do you do lighten somebody's day, and that means something for you. And I've been in radio now for close to 25 years. I started at an old station. I spun a few records. We asked Tim Brando about it yesterday. Where did you start? Have you ever had to spin a record, too, and be a real DJ?
Who, me?
Yes. Did you ever? Because Tim Brando was selling it. He played music. I had to play music, too, when we started our careers. Did you just get right into sports radio, or did you have to spin a little music, too?
No. This was never a dream of mine. It was never a consideration. In my upbringing through college, it never one time occurred to me get into radio for any reason. And I was going to go to medical school. I was working at a kid in Dallas's place, and the older guys had on talk radio. I was in my early 20s, and of course, I'm not going to go in there and change their channel. So I started listening to it. Then that station added a sports show, and it was an afternoon show. It was on a big, booming 50,000 watt, which you can get there at night, 1510. So I called him and I said, you know what, to pass the time, maybe I'll see if I can do an internship. And that's how I got into it. And within a half a year, I was on the air pretty prominently, just out of nowhere, guys. Literally, no plan, no thought, no, God, I hope someday I'm in radio. It never occurred to me. And here I am with you guys.
We were trying to think the other day about who would be, who gives you the best quote. Because Chad Morris, while he gives you energy and it gives you peppiness, doesn't necessarily give you the best quote. And I end up reading a story in The Athletic about Mike Leach's quarterback meetings and how off the wall this was. The quarterbacks would be in there for like 5 or 6 hours and barely talk any football. He started a couple of quarterbacks on dipping tobacco, which is kind of the opposite of the way it's supposed to go. What's your position on Mike Leach, A, as a football coach, and B, just as a personality?
Well, I know Mike because he was on my channel, and I traveled with him. And he's a great guy. Some of that's put on, and I don't mean that in a negative way. He doesn't act like that when you're sitting down having a beer. He tells you some hellacious stories that you're going to be laughing about. But he's a very intricate and eccentric guy mentally. He's incredibly smart. He's got a law degree from Pepperdine. And he's an offensive whiz kid guy, right? So I've got a million of those Mike Leach stories, and they're all funny. Have you read the one I told you about the catfish, right? I've told you that one, right?
I don't think I've heard about the catfish.
I
love catfish.
Okay, very quick. It's a story about he's in the Amazon fishing, and he's telling people this. Matter of fact, it's on the show, on the radio show. And he says, there's this little fish. If you're fishing in the Amazon and there's nowhere to relieve yourself, so you stand on the edge of the boat and you're peeing, there's a microscopic catfish that literally, the natives tell you, be careful, can swim up your stream in you and get you really sick. He tells that story, and it is more comical than anything you've ever heard. This is in the context of talking football, right? The other one is Oklahoma. He was Bob Stoops. He and Mark Mangino were Bob Stoops' first offensive coordinators at Oklahoma when Stoops got the job in '99. And he purposely, before the Texas-Oklahoma Red River rivalry game, had a play call sheet. Nobody knew, even the Oklahoma people didn't know it. And on the field before the game, he made sure people were looking, and he made it look like he dropped it and forgot about it. So he walks off. Oklahoma coach saying, Coach, get the play call sheet. He goes, that's not ours. It's not ours. It's fake. And it was drawing up the plays in order, and he said, we scored on my plays in like three plays, right out of the chute in the game. That's the kind of dude he is. That's how he thinks when he's coaching football.
I love you, Ty, but that's the kind of guy I want to be doing a radio show with, too.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, Bill, you think about, I don't know how connected he was, but at least there were rumors floating around in Fayetteville about him making his way to Arkansas. I don't know how much truth there was to that, but at least from a media standpoint, that would have been a lot more entertaining. Bill, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the Tennessee thing's legit. I know that.
Yeah, and I'm curious about the Gundy saying he's turned that job down 3 times. That's also very interesting. Bill, I got one last fun one to close you out before we let you go. There was an article I came across talking about what fictional TV character group would you most want to drink with. I'm going to change it up a little bit. If you had your choice of any college football team the last 50 years, who would you want to sit down and have drinks with?
Oh, it would be one of those Miami teams. of the mid-'80s that wore the fatigues and ran up the score on people and were totally lawless and cheated like crazy, drank, smoked the devil's lettuce. No, it's not even close. That group right there.
That was easy answer for him, Phil.
I was thinking about maybe Pete Carroll's USC championship team. Go out with them in Los Angeles at that time, and there was no NFL team, and they were the stars. I think that would be the one I might pick. Hey, Bill.
You like to talk to Brian, but individually, love to talk to Brian Bosworth, a guy like that. I mean, there's some good characters through there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea too. There, Bill. Great stuff. Always appreciate you stopping by with us. Thanks again, and enjoy the games this weekend.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
It's Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. Don't forget, you'll love Breeden RV and Motorsports. They've got upfront and no-hassle pricing, and every single RV is heavily discounted the minute it hits their lot. You're guaranteed to get the best price around. Breeden RV also, they offer maintenance for life at no extra charge on your new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome, and the only dealership around to do so. So come see Breeden RV today. They're on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or go to BreedenRV.com. Cherry on the top of a Wednesday halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at HitThatLine.com.